Something was very strange about this school. The classrooms were built from solid steel, but somehow they still didn't feel very sturdy. Before the teacher could even react, the disciplinary officer appeared right in front of the class. The teacher was so frightened he dropped to his knees and apologized, but the officer was not here for him. He had discovered that someone in this class had stolen a school uniform from the academy. Jack knew instantly that he had been caught. Without hesitation, he pulled out a smoke bomb. In an instant, thick smoke filled the entire building. Jack used the confusion to make his escape. However, the disciplinary officer was not as easy to shake as Jack had hoped. He leapt down from an upper floor and landed right in front of him. He grabbed Jack on the spot. Jack tried to fight back. What he had stolen was not just any uniform. It was one of the Academy's prized Goku uniforms, clothing that granted special abilities to its wearer. These uniforms were ranked by stars. Jack had taken a 1-star uniform, the lowest rank. The disciplinary officer, on the other hand, was one of the 4 elite of the student council. His uniform was a powerful 3-star model, the highest known tier. The power difference between them was massive. Jack didn't stand a chance in direct combat. During the fight, Jack could only take the hits. The officer couldn't understand why Jack would steal such a weak uniform. It was useless against someone like him. He thought Jack was simply wasting potential. The disciplinary officer continued to beat Jack. Someone saw what was happening. It was Jenny. Although she was only the president of the student council, she basically ruled the entire school. She had absolute control over order and rules. She even believed she was a queen. At the moment, Jenny was lost in her own world and completely unaware of what was happening at the school gates. A new transfer student had just arrived. This student would one day challenge and defeat her. It was Mary's first day at the academy, and she came prepared for battle. She marched straight toward Jenny, armed with nothing but a pair of scissors. Before she could land a hit, Mike rushed in to protect Jenny. Mike was incredibly strong. His fists were unbelievably large. He was the captain of the boxing club and wore a 2-star strength type uniform. His boxing gloves were equipped with a special ability that gave them the hardness of steel. Unlike other uniforms, Mike's Goku uniform only covered his gloves and shorts. Mary had to admit he was impressive. Now it was time for her to unleash her true power. Mike thought Mary had been looking down on him. He assumed she was finally getting serious, but he didn't expect her to be so weak. With one clean punch, Mike knocked Mary to the ground. When she collapsed, he bent down to take her weapon. Mary, summoning all her strength, stood up again. She was ready to fight to the death, but she was no match for him. Mike began mocking her, laughing at her pathetic attempts. Just when everything seemed over, Mike made a critical mistake. He lost his footing for just a moment. That gave Mary her chance. She escaped. She grabbed a delivery cart from a noodle vendor and rode off with it. The vendor shouted in anger, wondering what would happen to his deliveries. Mary at least left the food behind before fleeing into the rain. She was badly injured. She made it home, barely able to stand. As she lay there, memories of her past flooded back. She began to question her worth and felt completely useless. Suddenly, something about the floor seemed off. Without warning, she fell into a hidden underground room inside her own home. The wounds she had sustained earlier were still bleeding heavily. The smell of blood began to awaken something lurking